Hello everyone. Awesome. Okay. I actually just landed this morning at 5:30 a.m. from a 15-hour flight from London. So that would mean that I haven't slept for the whole night. And I've been sleepless on the plane. And I landed in Vietnam in the morning. I got back, got changed, and came back here. So that would probably mean if I start talking, I may say something very silly. Is that okay? Yeah. All right. So we're talking about global citizen. Let me tell you my story in London. So I went to London on a business trip. And you know, after 7 days in London, I actually made 7 new friends. One of which is a limousine driver, but who used to work for Burberry in London, big brand. After Brexit, if you know what Brexit means, after the UK actually leaves Europe, he lost his job. So he had to go and work as a driver for a while. And we talked about his life in London. The second person I met was a Bangladeshi restaurant owner who has been living in London for 30 years. And he's been working really hard to get 5 of his children into college. 5 children, you know. So a lot of people say these days having 1 child is hard enough. You know, he's having 5. So imagine that. So we talked about how to do business in London as an immigrant, as a newcomer going to such a developed market. I met 3 business people who are British, and they own big businesses in London. And they talked about how they could possibly expand their business outside of the UK and into Asia Pacific. So people are actually looking out a lot from the UK as well, not just from Vietnam, right? So we're saying that we're Vietnamese and we're looking out to be a global citizen. We want to travel the world. We want to do business all over the world. Well, to be very honest, everyone does. It's not just you, it's just me. It's everyone. And then the last day in London, I actually went around London just sightseeing. And I met this very lovely Chinese couple who lived in London, who owns 20 Chinese restaurants in London, and he's on the rise to actually take his restaurant chain into Europe and outside into Asia. So I met 7 new people on my one trip. And you know what? What is global citizen? That's when you actually connect with people, wherever you go, whoever they are. Whether he's a Pakistani, whether he's a Bangladeshi, whether they are British, whether they are Chinese. They are people, and we are people. So we are connected to them, no matter where we're from, no matter how we look, what kind of skin color you've got. It doesn't really matter. I made 7 new friends. So today, I wanted to start my talk by asking you to do one exercise to start being a global citizen. You know, the 7 people that I met in London, I've never met them before in my life. They were strangers to me. And at the end of day 5, I actually became great friends. And the next time they go to Asia or Vietnam, they'll visit me. If I go to London, I'll visit them. That's the kind of spirit that we would like all over the world. That's the kind of spirit we would like to see in young Vietnamese people. That you can become friends to everyone. You can talk about Vietnam to the world. Right? So the exercise is, I want you to turn to the person on your left-hand side. I want you to say, hey, how are you doing today? Do you want to do that? The person on your left-hand side, and tell that person, hey, how are you doing today? Do you want to do that? Left-hand side. Do you understand me? Turn to the person on the left and say, hello, how are you doing? Say it. Don't be shy. It's okay. You know, this is the first step to be a global citizen, is to say hello to anyone you meet. Whoever they are, whether they are strangers or not, it doesn't really matter. Okay, now I want you to turn to the person on your right-hand side and say, hey, you look amazing. Isn't that great? Okay. Now, before I left London yesterday morning, obviously when I said goodbye to all of my friends, and you know what was one thing that I did to all of them? Tell me, what was the one thing that I did to all of them before I left London? Any idea? Any idea? No? Okay. Can I borrow you? Do you want to come forward? He looks very scared. Don't be scared. It's okay. Okay, so imagine this is my new friend from London. Hello. Okay, before I left London, this is what I did to actually say goodbye. Thank you so much. Are you scared?
A little bit.
That's okay. That's okay. So that's what I did when I make new friends. I hugged them. And that becomes an emotion, you know, that bonds people together. So if you want to become a global citizen, you have to get used to it. Talk to people, talk to strangers, say hello. Have a conversation, hug them. And it's okay to do so, because that's how people get connected to each other. Can I ask you to do something? Can I ask you all to stand up? Stand up. Now, can I ask you all to turn to the person next to you and hug that person? Give that person a big hug. That's awesome. Okay, thanks. You can sit down now. So I heard that I actually brought a little bit of what's going on in the world in terms of human relationship to you all. And I think you don't have to talk about education, you don't have to talk about marks and points, you don't have to talk about big things when we talk about global citizenship. We talk about human reaction, we talk about human interaction. We talk about being nice to people. We talk about being able to have a conversation with people. And we talk about making them feel fantastic after they meet us, because that's how you promote Vietnam, because that's how people love Vietnam, and that's how you become a global citizen. So that's my beginning of a presentation that I'm going to have today. Well, obviously, global citizenship, I'm very sorry, it's a little bit small, and it's not very clear. But global citizen is not something very strange. It's not something very new. It's not something just invented yesterday. It has been there for the last 10 years. And if you look at the various regions around the world, you look at Asia Pacific, you look at Africa, you look at Middle East, you look at Eastern Europe, around 40 to 50% of young people your age, as beautiful and as young as you are today, they think that they are a global citizen. Now, that would mean that there is a shift, a change from being who I am today in Saigon, who I am today in Vietnam, to who I am as a person, as an identity in the region and in the world. It's a shift of your mindset. So I'm from Global Time, Tiền Giang, right? I'm a little town person, and I love it. And I love Ho Chi Minh City, and I love Vietnam. But I know that for me to be able to work, to be able to travel, to be able to be a global citizen, I have to start thinking like one. So it's not about you traveling to how many countries. It's not about you buying a tour tomorrow, going to Malaysia and calling yourself a global citizen. It doesn't mean that way. Global citizenship is a mindset. This is where it is. This is where it lies. Once you've got that change in your mindset to a global citizen, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter where you're from, and it doesn't matter whether you have actually traveled to any country. It is the spirit of embracing everyone, embracing every culture, embracing the word, so that one day you can proudly say to everyone, you can get connected to everyone. And you've got social media, you've got online platforms, right? At the moment, I have to say, I travel a lot, but you know what? A lot of the inquiries for my business actually came through on a business platform called LinkedIn. LinkedIn. Okay? You use Facebook, I know, you're a Facebooker. You probably check Facebook for 1,000 times a day. But the professional people, they use a different platform. It's called LinkedIn. And every single week, I probably receive anywhere around 6 to 7 offers from people all over the world for me to participate into their project. So tell me, do you have to travel to work with people all over the world? You don't have to, but you need this. You need the mindset of a person who's open to the world, who's ready to say, here I am, I'm sitting in Vietnam, but I'm ready to work with you wherever you are. I'm ready to talk to you wherever you are, and I know who I am. And I'm not afraid to tell you that I'm Vietnamese. Now that's important. That is important. Because global citizenship doesn't mean that you have to lose your identity as a Vietnamese. No. It's actually strengthening your identity as a Vietnamese. Because if you don't know who you are, you can't really talk to people. People don't appreciate you. And if people don't appreciate you, how do they work with you? How do they collaborate with you? It's impossible. Now, in the world at the moment, there is something very new for the last 8 months or so called GQ. You probably know what IQ means, yeah? Your intelligence quotient. You have IQ, you're smart. And then people start talking about something else called EQ, emotional intelligence. How you know your soul, how you know others, how you interact with them, how you read people, how you actually contact them, connect with them, and build relationship. That's called EQ. But recently, people start talking about another Q, and it's called GQ. And GQ is globality quotient. And it says whether you are having a global mindset or not. So you tell me, you ask me, why do you need GQ? When you look at the word at the moment, you look at the economy of the word, it's almost a free word. It's freedom of trade, it's freedom of labor, it's freedom of flow of goods all over the world. So then, if you work for a company, the company will go, well, we are a global company. Therefore, we will have projects that we need people from all very different countries to collaborate. So one project can have a person from Vietnam, one person from Malaysia, one person from Singapore, one person from India, and probably one person sitting in the US, join it together. Now the question is, if you go and work for a company like that, and you have to enter into a project like that, and you don't know anything about those countries, and you don't know how you could build relationships with people from Malaysia and Singapore and the US, because their culture is so different, because their religion is so different, because they talk different, because their mentality is different, because the way they work is very different. Well, if you don't know that, how do you work with them? If you don't learn and understand them, if you don't learn about their cultures, about their religions, about the way they work, about their language, how do you work with them? So GQ is something that a lot of global companies are actually using to test whether you are ready to work globally. Now, mind you, this is not something that's very, very far-reached. It's actually happening in Vietnam at the moment. I have a few of my so-called brothers and sisters, I call them brothers and sisters even though they have nothing related to me. Well, they have become team leaders working and managing markets like Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, and they are Vietnamese. So you ask me, what gets them there? It is this. It is the GQ that gets them the opportunities to work internationally. And then you can ask me, but I don't want to go and work for anyone. I want to have my own startup. I want to be my own boss. Well, that's okay. You can do that. But mind you, that a lot of the international funds or investors will look at your GQ before they invest. Why? Because the word of business does not include Vietnam only. When we talk business, we have to talk regions. We have to talk ASEAN. We have to talk Asia. We have to talk Asia Pacific. We have to talk Middle East, Africa, and then the world. So your business cannot be just limited within one country or one market. And therefore, if I want to invest into your company, I need to say, if you are ready to be a global citizen, if is something that you should start thinking about in 2017, your GQ. Yeah? Then you ask me, okay, well, I'm pretty clear that I need to be a global citizen, that I need to learn to integrate into the world. Your question is, how do I do that? Now remember, I go back to the beginning, and I did, you know what? If you want to travel the world, and if you want to interact with people, and if you want to become a global citizen, the first thing you need to know, the very first thing you need to know is who you are. Let me ask you, if a foreigner comes here today and asks, so tell me a bit about your soul. Who are you? What would you say? Let me give you an exercise within 3 sentences. Please introduce yourself to a total foreign stranger about yourself. Can you do that? I need some volunteer. Within 3 sentences, introduce yourself to a total stranger who is a foreigner who wants to know who you are. Any volunteer? Yes, okay. I've got a volunteer here. That's fantastic to see. You have one?
Hello everyone, my name is Chương, and I am from University of Science. You said that the foreigner will ask me about myself. Hello, my name is Phong. I'm a student in Ho Chi Minh City, and I really like to help you if you want to know something new in Ho Chi Minh City. So, can I help you?
Right, okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Do you want to put your hands together for your friend? Put your hands together for your friend. She's done a great job. So, I'm just going to start by giving you a quote. And it says, be yourself, everyone else is already taken. Now, you know what? When we grow up, and I used to grow up like yourself, we used to dream and we used to want to be somebody else. I want to be Madame Thao because she looks so beautiful. Not that you are, but you know, just an example. And I want to be Edmund because he looks fantastic and he does the most important job in Ho Chi Minh City. We grow up wanting to be somebody else. The 20 years that I've been traveling around doing businesses around the world, there is one thing I learned that I have to tell you today. Your friends all over the world, no matter where they are, the one thing they appreciate, the one thing they appreciate, they love about you is your soul. They only want to know who you are. They want to learn about you. And they appreciate the person you are. If they find that you're trying to be somebody else and you're trying to do big talk, you're trying to give them impressions, they're going to go, you know what, waste of time, see you next time. But the moment they start talking and having a conversation about you as a person, the true soul within you, they appreciate it. They They become emotional about it. And they want to know you more. And they want to build a bonding with you over the years. So number one advice from somebody who have traveled, who have done a lot, who have a lot of failure, a lot of success at the same time, is be yourself. But to be yourself, the first thing you have to do is you have to do an exercise. You have to ask yourself. Nobody is going to do the exercise for you. Nobody. You are responsible for your own self. So you have to take time out. You have to look at yourself. You have to think about yourself. You ask yourself these questions. What am I good at? What am I good at? What is it that I can do the best in the world? What is it that I can make the most influence to the world? And yet, what am I bad at? Everybody is bad at something. I'm pretty bad at micromanagement. I can do big projects, I can think strategically, but when it comes to managing the little details, I'm really, really bad. And I know that because I do my exercise. Because I take a piece of paper out and I write down, she is good at talking to people, making connections. She is super, super bad at any details. And so don't give her any job that involves anything to do with managing details. She's going to do a really bad job. So I took time out to understand myself. I asked myself the questions. I took out a piece of paper and wrote it down. What I'm good at, what I'm bad at, what do I need to improve? And if I'm talking about me being a global citizen, then what do I know about it? What do I need to learn about it? Where am I at the moment with the concept of global citizenship? Where am I at the moment with understanding the world, understanding the people, understanding the cultures? Do I know anything? Wow. It's a powerful question. But you have to take time out for yourself, asking yourself the questions and answering them honestly. If you cannot be honest to yourself, you can't be honest to anyone else. Mark my words. If you can't be honest to yourself, you can't be honest to anyone else. So today is day 0. Today is the day you have to go back, pull out a piece of paper and be honest to yourself and write down what you're good at, what you're really bad at. If you can make people laugh, it's fantastic, that's your good point. If you just can't say hello to anyone because you're too scared, well, that's something you have to work on, right? So number 1 step, start by understanding who you are. And remember, the person you are is a beautiful person. The person you are is the person that every single person in this world is going to appreciate. Don't try and be someone else. Be yourself. My second point, well, if I know where I am from, where I start and who I am, then obviously to have a road or a street or a map, you need to have 2 points. You need to have a starting point and you need to have a finish point. You need to know where you're going. You can't just get into college and go, well, I hope that when I finish college, I'm going to get a job and that's about it. What kind of job? Where is the job? Is it in Ho Chi Minh City? Is it all over Vietnam? Is it in the region? Is it just a normal employee? Is it a manager position? Is it a senior leader position? What do you want for yourself? Because if you don't know what you want, you never get it. Never. Okay? Mark my words. If you don't know what you want, you will never get it. So after you understand yourself as a person and start appreciating yourself as a person, start thinking, where am I heading? Where am I going? Am I going that way or that way? Or am I going upstairs? Or am I going somewhere else? If you don't know that, sit down, ask yourself, talk to your colleagues, talk to your teachers, talk to the various wonderful people who are here to help you. Talk to them. They are your mentors. They have experiences and they can help you. Sometimes when we're young, we don't know what's going on. I was young once. I didn't know what was going on. And we need people to help. We need mentors. We need teachers. We need people who have been there and done that to actually come back and tell us where we should be heading. And I'm telling you today, where you are heading, it doesn't really matter what job you're going to get in the future. It has to head to the region and to the world. Why? Because everybody else in the world is doing the same thing. And if we're not doing it, and if we don't become a global mindset, we're going to be outdated. We're going to be falling behind. And people are just going to be just ahead of us all the time. You look at the number of managers, middle management managers around Asia Pacific. That's where I work a lot. Who do I see? I see a lot of Singaporeans. I see some Malaysians. I see a lot of Indians. And let me tell you my experience in India. I was in India in 2012 for a huge conference in January. And then after the conference, we actually boarded a 5-star train going down to Taj Mahal. Fantastic wonder of the world. You know what? I boarded the train and I looked out on both sides. You know what I see? I saw bare fields with nothing on it but litters, rubbish. And I saw thousands of people, old people, young people, children, that are sitting in little tiny cottages made out of just shopping bags. They were sitting like that. They were looking out. There is despair. They are desperate. They have nowhere to go. They don't know what the future holds. And they sit there and look out. I look at that, I was like, I can't understand it. How could a country like that produce a lot of managers in Asia Pacific? Why? What's happening? Something is not doing their job. Something is not right. How could a country that can be as poor or poorer than Vietnam producing more managers at regional level in Asia Pacific than Vietnam? Tell me one Vietnamese regional manager that I've met in my life. None. And I've met so many Indians. And India, I have to tell you, is very super poor. We are a lot better than them. So you tell me where it goes wrong. It goes wrong here. Because they're young people, because they're students sitting in colleges and universities in India are saying, we are global citizens. Their mindset is different. The way they talk and think is different. That's how there are a lot more managers in Asia Pacific that are Indian than Vietnamese. You tell me, can we do that? Obviously, absolutely we can. The one thing you need to do today is change this. Change it. And tell yourself today, I am a global citizen and I'm going to have a plan to develop myself so that I can become one. But you have to start being one in your mind if you want to do anything. Don't try and tell yourself that you're going to be a global citizen in 10 years' time. It will never happen. It will never happen. It will never happen. You become one today. Because only by becoming one in your mind today, then you have a plan to actually go out, to actually conquer the world, to actually compare yourself with people from Singapore or Malaysia or Thailand or India. And mind you, I've been working with a lot of people in Asia Pacific. They are no more intelligent than us, no more intelligent than us. They are no more hardworking than us. And I have to tell you, a lot of the times in meetings, when I have to manage people in other countries, I have to tell them, come on, you have to work harder. You know how Vietnamese work? We work harder, a lot harder than that. So we got a lot going for ourselves, we're just not ready. So get ready. It is time. It is time for you to be ready. If you're not ready now, you'll never, ever be ready. Because the time is now. Because becoming a global citizen is this year. It will never be in 5 years' time. Let me tell you. The third point I want to make is, okay, well, I know who I am. I make up my mind today. I'm going to be a global citizen. I've changed my mind. Today is day 0. I definitely will do it. Well, the third thing you have to do is you have to think about your plan. How do I do it? What do I have to do? How do I do it over the 5 years? How do I do it over the 10 years? And you need to put together what I call a map. To be a global citizen is not just about your professionalism. It's not just about what you study. You study electrics, you study business, you study English, you study cultures, whatever you're studying, whatever it is, that's your expertise. But expertise alone is never enough to be a global citizen. Why? Because you're working with people from all over the world, from different races, from different skin colors, from different religions. So you got to understand that to be able to build a relationship with them. If you can't build a relationship with whoever else you meet anywhere in the world, how do you do it? How do you further your career? How do you actually develop your business? It's impossible. But to establish and to actually build that relationship, you need more than your expertise. You need your knowledge about culture. You need your knowledge about geography. I say, well, you know, that's happening in Gambia. Did you go to Gambia? Is that somewhere in America? People will go, where have you been? Have you been to college? You don't know where Gambia is? You know what I mean? So your general knowledge of geography, of history, of culture, of music, of arts need to blend in so that you can actually make that one conversation with that one person that you just meet in London, and that person is going to open a lot of doors for you in the future. If you can't have a deep conversation with that person, forget it. It will never go anywhere. It doesn't matter how many people you meet in your life, it doesn't matter. If you can't have one deep conversation with one person about whatever subject, whether he likes music, he likes arts, he likes humanity, he likes geography, he likes sports, if you can't have that conversation with him, he's not going to help you. So the map or the journey of a global citizen is to be able to develop yourself in various sectors and not just your expertise. Where do you do that? Well, the good news is everything you need to know is now online. Everything you need to learn is actually free and offered by a lot of big name universities all over the world. You tell me, Harvard, MIT, Oxford, Columbia University, they're all online, they're all offering all the courses for free. My question is your English enough to study? If your language is not there, if you can't really read or write or speak, then you've got this whole asset, this whole wonderful thing happening in front of you. You can't touch it. So my last advice is have a plan, but no matter what you do, study the languages. It does help. Okay? Before I leave, I would like to tell you a personal story. Is that okay? Okay. Well, if you look at the photo, the guy standing on my right-hand side, pretty old guy, he used to be my boss. He used to be the chairman of the corporation I used to work for in Australia. He's 65 years old. His name is Nabi Saleh. He's an immigrant though. He was from Israel. And he immigrated into Australia and became a millionaire. Well, I used to work for him, and one day, he called me to his office and he said, "Hey Fee," they call me Fee, because Fee is easier. So, "Hey Fee, I've got something new for you." And I said, "Oh, that sounds exciting. What is it?" And he went, "You know what? I'm going to make you the international manager for 4 regions: Asia, Middle East, Africa, and Eastern Europe. That's 4 regions of the world. That's 2/3 of the world." And I was almost collapsing. I was so scared. I said to him, "So, look, Nabi, I really appreciate your helping me here. But you know what? I have no knowledge of the other regions apart from Asia, so I'm a little scared." And he said to me one thing. He said, "You know, Fee, this is one life lesson that I would like to give you." I said, "Okay, a life lesson is always good." He said, "I've got a lot of money, I'm a millionaire." "Yeah, okay, I know." Okay. With money, I can buy people, I can buy expertise. If I want the best of the best of the best out of Harvard, out of Oxford, having a lot of experiences in this industry, I can buy them. I definitely can. I can pay them a lot of money and buy them. But there's one thing money can't buy. There is one thing money can't buy. And it's the heart of a person. There is only one thing, and it's the heart of a person. And that's why you got the job. So my message to you today, young ladies and gentlemen, with a very bright future ahead of you, who are going to become global citizens, my message is very simple. Be kind. On your way out, on your way up, on your way down, wherever you go, be kind. Because that's the biggest, the most important asset that you've got within you already to be a global citizen. And thank you very much. I hope to have another chance to be with you next time. Thank you. take the first question. Yes.
Hello, it's me again. Hello, it's me again. Coming from University of Science. You said in 20 years you travel all around the world. So have you ever been disappointed with your job or your work when you couldn't do it? And how you can inspire yourself when you do something, especially for youth in Vietnam and all around the world?
Fantastic question. A round of applause for her, please. Okay, let me tell you, I've got a student life overseas, like you. And you know what? I had to go into class at 7 a.m. in the morning and finish it around 5. 7 p.m. I go straight into a job. And I finish normally at around 2 a.m. That's how I work. And then 2 a.m. got home, have instant noodle, like we all do. And then straight back into class the next day. Sometimes I sleep in class. I'm like sitting like that, with my eyes wide open, and I'm actually sleeping inside. You do that? All students do that. Come on, don't tell me you don't. So anyway, so I had to do that kind of work, overnight work, for around 3 years in various jobs just to support my study. Because studying overseas is very expensive. So if you're telling me today, I can't do that. My family doesn't have the money. I don't have the finance. Okay, think again. Have you tried? Because if you try, there is always a way. And that's how I work to get through to my universities overseas. You asked me, were you disappointed? Yes. I was crying my eyes out because I had to overwork, because I had to do things like waitering, I had to do things like, cleaning in a hotel. And you tell me, do you want to do it? Oh no, nobody wants to do it. But if you have your eyes on where you're going, and you know what you want, then obviously there will be ups and downs in life. There will be times when it's so tough that you have to cry. There will be times when you really need a person and go, you know what, I'm dying. Please save me. We are human beings and we like that. So don't tell me that all successful people are really always like, I'm successful, I've never been as disappointed in my life, I've never got any failure in my life. It's bullshit. It's bullshit, isn't it? We're human beings. We have to be emotional, come on. Right? So yes, I've been disappointed in my life. I've got failures in my life. I used to cry in my life. I used to think that, I'm going to go back to Vietnam the next day and just forget all about this. This is too much. It's unbelievable. It's unbearable. But then again, you think about who you want to be, and you go, I can't quit. I have to go on. Because if I quit now, I'll never come out again. I'm going to be just another person on earth with no name, with no influence in this society, without any hope to anyone. That's what keeps me going. Thanks for the question.
Anyone else?
Okay. If you don't want to ask questions, okay, there's a question here. Questions, let's do karaoke.
Hello, I am Phong from University of Information Technology. And yeah, I have a question. It's not actually a problem, and maybe it sounds a bit silly. But if someone asks you, why do I have to be a global citizen? I see it too complicated to know about other country cultures, to know about many things, art, architecture, the regions. So I just want a normal life in Vietnam, have a beautiful wife, and have 2-3 children, and have a good job and do my best work in Vietnam. And I believe that I can have a good life too. So why have I to be a citizen, a global citizen?
Yeah. Okay. My next question to you is: have you got a girlfriend?
Used to.
Used to, okay. Because I want to see your beautiful wife today. Thank you for the question. It's a very good question. Look, we've talked about global citizenship, and I said it's not about going out, traveling to many countries, taking a lot of photos. It's not. Global citizenship is a mindset. So you may stay here in Vietnam, have a job in Vietnam, have a beautiful wife, 2 kids, beautiful garden. You can have all that and have a peaceful life. But if you don't have a global citizen mindset, you will be outdated in this world. You look at social media at the moment, you look at technology and the rate of development. If you don't update yourself today, you become what? You become a caveman. You don't know anything. So it's not about going places. It's not about living overseas. No, never. It's about here. It's about your mindset to integrate into the world and keep yourself up to date with the development of the world. And by the way, have a beautiful wife. Thank you for the question.
I really like your talk show about the global citizen. So can I ask you that this is the first talk show between you and the student like that, right? Or
it's actually the first in English.
The first in English, because I think that this talk show like that could inspire us, especially with the students who really want to go out, go abroad, take part in exchange programs and kind of that. But we don't have enough chance to speak English or listen English by Vietnamese. Yeah. So have you ever thought about the series talk show to the universities in Ho Chi Minh City and have a talk show like that? So all our friends, my friend, your friends, their friends could be inspired by you, because I really love the story from the travels, from your experience. And secondly, you know that Ho Chi Minh City have the National Youth Union, yeah, right? We celebrate a lot of programs, a lot of things for students, but not too many of them take part in that program. And I really want, I myself, I really wonder why they don't want to participate in this file. It's really happy, really huge opportunities for them to improve themselves. But I don't know the reason why. And you have any of the reason?
Okay, let's not talk about the why, and let's talk about the what. We don't know why things haven't happened, but we can control what can happen in the future. Can we?
Yes.
You're all very much leaders in your universities. So why don't you go back and organize activities and actually inspire the students in your universities to actually, think about being a global citizen. The future is in your hand. Who organizes these events? You do. Who wants to spread the word? You do. Who's going to make this a better place and make Vietnam having its impact internationally? You do. So I'm actually entrusting you to actually go back and do that. Today, we actually have a beautiful, a fantastic time together, and we've got a relationship. And this relationship is not going anywhere, it's there. And we can still maintain contact and we still talk to each other. And let's make things happen together.
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
Yes, so I'm really happy if I would like to invite you to my university.
Okay, promise.
I promise. Yeah, thank you so much. I will contact you as soon as I can.
Fantastic.